In the year 2025, there will be millions, perhaps billions of games coming out. Okay, there's a lot less than that, but yeah. We just wanted to take a minute and let you know the top 25 games coming out of Q1 that we're excited for. Welcome to Game Conclave, this is VBerg. If you could take a moment to like this vid and subscribe, it would really help us grow. But without further ado, let's hop into our list of 25 games we're looking forward to in Q1 of 2025. Cuisineer is a cozy action RPG roguelite dungeon crawler developed by Battle Brew Productions. And I think that this is their first non-mobile title. In Cuisineer, when you are not slapping baddies with spatulas, you're grilling up some great grub. And yeah, we have some cozy fans here, and they're dying for this one to come out on console, because evidently they haven't played it enough on PC already. Looking at you. Anyway, you play as Palm, an adventurer turned restaurateur. Your parents' restaurant has been run into the ground, and to pay back their debts, you'll be delving and diving into dangerous dungeons to farm up materials for cooking and get the restaurant out of debt. The game features over 100 different recipes to learn, as well as some seriously angry chickens. So if you're a fan of colorful, cozy games, make sure to check this one out on January 28th when it hits the Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series S and X. Alright, next up we have Eternal Strands. This is coming to us from Yellow Brick Games. This is their debut title. And what's of interest to us here at Game Conclave is Studio Yellow Brick Games was founded by Mike Laidlaw, who is one of the primary creators of the Dragon Age series during his tenure at BioWare. He also worked on Jade Empire and Mass Effect, which are games we love. So we're really excited about this one. You'll be playing as a weaver named Bryn, who's trying to recover her people's homeland. It's a physics-based RPG. You'll incorporate these cool fire, ice, and telekinetic powers into a very new and interesting-looking fantasy setting. We mentioned previously in our RPGs of January vid that a developer had mentioned that the Shadow of the Colossus was a inspiration on the game, and I feel like that's really present in the enemy designs. The developers have said that the player's creativity with powers is just as important as exploration. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with these powers. Use the ice magic to make bridges and freeze things. Use the fire powers to ignite things or attack. Use telekinesis to rip objects out of the ground, to use for platforming or hurl them at enemies, or even stop projectiles hurtling towards you. Between your magic, sword, and other tools, you'll be bringing these giant enemies down as well as the other enemies. And yeah, we're super pumped about this one. Kind of like Psyops, the main Mindgate Conspiracy meets Shadow of the Colossus, mixed with a little bit of one of the new Zelda titles. And yeah, it sounds killer. This one launches on January 28th for PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero is a strategy RPG and a sequel to Phantom Brave: The Bermuda Triangle, which came out 20 years ago. We mentioned it before, but we were all really shocked to see this one because how niche the original was get a sequel. But excited too, yeah. So just like in the prequel, you'll be playing as Morona, who is cursed with the power to see and command spirits or ghosts. She can summon them directly into objects, allowing for all sorts of hilarious stuff, as they can animate cannons and pots and garbage, which can affect their stats and provide special abilities. This comes from Nippon Ichi Software, best known for the Disgaea series, La Pucelle, and Rhapsody: A Musical Adventure. If you know anything about Nippon Ichi, they love to make just wacky, silly games. That's their thing. So I wouldn't expect the story to have too many serious moments. There might be a few like real tender, almost tearjerker moments here or there, but generally it's probably going to be pretty lighthearted. They really focus on gameplay first, and tons of replayability in their games. You can pretty much play most of them just about endlessly, grinding out loot and improving your stats. It'll take place in the island world Ivoire, same as the first game, which has found itself under attack by a fleet of ghost ships, and Morona is looking to stop them. It'll be coming out on January 30th for the Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC.
But with you here, I'm sure we can win.
Tales of Iron 2: Whiskers of Winter. It's a Souls-like action RPG, and the sequel to the first Tales of Iron game, both of which were developed by Oddbug Studio. The first game came out back in 2021, and it was a great game. I don't really hear much about it, though, which is a shame. You'll play as Arlo, the heir to the Warden of the Wastes. The ancient evil Darkwings, which are evil spooky bats, have risen once more, and you'll be tasked with uniting the disparate clans and rebuilding your settlement. Doug Cockle, perhaps best known for voicing Geralt of Rivia in the very small under-the-radar series known as The Witcher, will be returning once more to narrate the Grand Rodent Adventures. I gotta say, I really love the art style. Reminds me a lot of Darkest Dungeon so much, and I love that game as well. You'll defeat monstrous foes, collect rare resources to craft epic armor and weapons, evade and parry your foes as you try to reclaim the Northern Lands. You'll have access to multiple weapon types and traps as you try to deduce what will work best to take down the vicious beasts you encounter. If side-scroll and Souls-likes are your jam, or your favorite film of all time is The Secret of Nit, you're going to want to give this one a gander when it hits the Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC on January 28th.
When the night's so dark, dawn struggles to break.
Alright, next up we have the Stone of Madness. This is a real-time tactical stealth game coming to us by the developers of Blasphemous, the Game Kitchen, who are also developing the upcoming Ninja Gaiden game. You'll be playing as 5 prisoners held in an Inquisition-era prison that's become little more than a madhouse. You're going to be able to cast spells, stun enemies, steal people's attire, and distract enemies as you try to fend off madness. Swap between a team of 5 different characters with different abilities as you attempt to escape from the Spanish monastery. It looks like there's evidently going to be some kind of a sanity mechanic in this, and I always love sanity mechanics. I love Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. It was a great game. I don't know why it's never been made playable on any modern systems, other than it's just issues with the developer, Silicon Knights. I don't even know who owns the rights to it, but yeah. If the sanity system in this is something akin to that, I'm gonna love it. There's a day-night cycle. It will affect guard behavior and actions. The art style's really, really cool. These are all apparently paintings that the studio has animated, and yeah, that's awesome. So if you're a fan of the Me games like Desperados or Shadow Tactics, check this one out. It's going to be landing on Switch, Xbox Series S and X, PS5, and PC on January 28th.
Thus begins our tale. May God have mercy on our souls, or whatever is left of them.
Sniper Elite Resistance is developed by Rebellion, best known for the previous entries in this series, and also being the developers behind the upcoming title Atomfall. Sniper Elite is a tactical stealth third-person shooter. This one is set during World War II in France. You'll be playing as a new character, Harry Hawker, and the story from this one runs parallel with the events of Sniper Elite 5. The Nazis have developed a new weapon that will win them the war, so you'll be cooperating with the French resistance and undermining the Nazis at every turn. You'll be provided with kill lists, and you'll determine how to infiltrate and assassinate your targets. There are also new propaganda missions, which involve killing targets in time-sensitive challenges. The popular Axis Invasion mode will be returning, where you can invade another player's game and take on the role of a Nazi sniper to try and take them out. 16-player online competitive battles are present, and the entire game's campaign can be completed in co-op. The Sniper series is, of course, known for its hilarious kill cam, and that is definitely still there. You'll sabotage enemy equipment, snipe enemies from afar, take them down in stealthy melee combat, customize your weapons, and kill Nazis. If you dig things like Hitman, Ghost Recon Wildlands, you should probably give this one a glance when it drops on January 30th for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series S and X. Alright, next up we have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I don't know. What are we gonna say about this one? This is one of the most anticipated games of the year. It's coming from Warhorse Studios, which was founded by people who were at the studio 2K Czech. These are the creators of the Mafia series. They eventually got tired of being under 2K's thumb and settled out to make their own game. And boy, with Kingdom Come Deliverance, did they deliver. The first game was an absolutely hardcore, non-linear Western RPG set in medieval Bohemia. No fantasy elements, just real-world stuff. And the second game looks to be everything the first one was, but bigger and more badass. And I think a lot of us are dying to play it. The game will feature first-person combat focusing on realism. You don't just get to be a master swordsman from day one. Combat and skills will take work and diligence in this series. You'll be reprising your role as Henry from the first game, once more thrust into the massive open world that is Bohemia. Fight, steal, murder, maim, or seduce. You get to choose how you play. The game script is so frickin' massive that it apparently just unseated Baldur's Gate 3 for the largest script in the game, because Baldur's Gate only had a mere 2 million words, and this one has 2.2 million words. But yeah, that just tells you how many different options and choices there are to play out. So seriously though, it's a great RPG. It's very difficult to compare it to other games. It's sort of doing its own thing. If I had to make any comparisons, I would probably compare it to the Mountain Blade series, in that it's focused on that medieval realism. But then I would probably compare it to the Elder Scrolls at the same time for being a first-person RPG. Just no fantasy elements. But yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance is kind of its own thing. It's expected to have a massive open world too for us to get lost in. So check it out on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on February 4th.
Be kind and protect us, so we don't blow our arses off. Amen.
Next up is Sid Meier's Civilization 7. This is a very long-running grand strategy series, and absolutely great one too. This is coming by way of Firaxis, which God, they've been around forever. These are the developers behind the XCOM revival, Marvel's Midnight Suns, and of course Civilization. They have made a ton of great stuff. So yeah, if you're not familiar with Civilization, you'll select a leader for your empire. You have the option of picking between different prominent historical figures, and they'll each have different bonuses that will help shape the growth of your empire. You'll construct cities, perform technological and economic research, and build cultural monuments to lead your people to victory and try to become the dominant culture. Victory can be achieved through a variety of different ways. You can build the biggest army to dominate your foes, or create the most vibrant culture, which can encourage other cities to defect and join your way of life. Crossplay between PC and consoles will be supported, so whenever you're done building your empire in the single-player campaign, you've got tons of options online between the downloadable challenge maps or facing off against other players. The series has been around for like 30 years now. It's stood the test of time. If you've never given any of them a shot, you should think about diving in and checking this out. This is one of the best turn-based grand strategy games out there. This one's going to be launching on Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on February 11th. Alright, next up we have Tomb Raider 4 through 6 Remastered. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered came out last year, and now we've got the next batch of remastered titles. And this is one of the most influential game series of all time. Lara Croft is an icon of gaming. One of the first big mainstream heroines. And if you're somehow not familiar with Tomb Raider, you've probably heard of a little series it inspired called Uncharted. Nathan Drake was basically dude Lara Croft. So yeah. If you enjoy your action platforming with a bit of combat and supernatural elements, it's definitely a series you want to take a look at. This is where it all started. So keep in mind, these are remastered versions of games that are sometimes 20 plus years old. They may not have all the bells and whistles you're accustomed to, but sometimes it's really fun to go back and kind of see where genres started and where gaming was at a long time ago, you know. So I don't know. We're pretty excited about these. We always love to have more Lara around here. So this one will be launching on Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on February 14th. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2 is developed by Nihon Falcon, and these are the granddaddies of action RPGs. But this is actually their turn-based series. But anyway, yeah, Trails, which is a sub-series of the Legend of Heroes series, is a long-running RPG with a continuous narrative. It goes all the way back to the Trails in the Sky games, but each little arc is its own mini-entry, so it's kind of like a standalone thing, but they're all kind of enhanced by knowing what's going on in the rest. It's kind of like the MCU of JRPGs, and yeah, so this is the latest entry. It sounds like they're working towards wrapping up the storyline pretty soon. I don't know how many more games they've got left on it, but yeah. I'm sure they want new players to be able to hop on board, which is probably why they have coming out later this year a remake of their very first game, Trails in the Sky. So for those of you already in the know, check this one out. For those of you who are interested in something epic, keep an eye on the first one's remake. And just about all the rest besides the Sky trilogy are available on modern consoles. So if you're looking for a story packed to the brim with twists and turns, zany, goofy, and fun characters, and some, really great moments, you should definitely check this series out when it launches February 14th on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC. Alright, next up we have got Avowed. This comes by way of Obsidian Entertainment. You might know them as a studio behind Fallout New Vegas, Pentiment, and the Pillars of Eternity series, in addition to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, and a countless slew of others. I forgot to mention Alpha Protocol. I love Alpha Protocol. Must always mention Alpha Protocol. Yeah, anyway. Underrated as heck. Let's get back to Avowed, though. So Avowed is sort of a sequel, I guess, to Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2. Maybe a prequel, maybe going at the same time. Anyway, it takes place in the same world. But it's going to have combat and exploration aspects more in line with the Outer Worlds, also made by Obsidian. So it's kind of like their spin-off of Pillars of Eternity, just in probably a more approachable format for most people. Be a first-person action RPG. You do have the ability to toggle to third-person, though. You'll be able to recruit companions, learn spells, build your character the way you want, and engage in combat as you please. There'll be a lot of interesting stuff going on here. The world of Pillars of Eternity is a very unique, dark and fun setting. So we're looking forward to this one. It'll be hitting PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X on February 18th. And there is no word whether or not this will be hitting any of the other consoles, such as PlayStation. Microsoft has been a little mum on that, which makes sense. I think it'll depend on how this one sells as an exclusive to determine how well it hits other things. So,
go tame the chaos that plagues the living lands, so that those who remain standing can shape its future.
Alright, now we've got a twofer. Yes, the first two episodes of Lost Record, Bloom and Rage, are both going to be coming out this quarter. This comes by way of Don't Nod Entertainment, behind Life is Strange 1 and 2, Vampire, and Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. This is going to be a spiritual sequel, successor to the Life is Strange series, as they no longer own the IP and can't make them anymore. Definitely a narrative adventure game. You'll be playing as a young gal hanging out with her friends during a fateful summer. The events that transpire cause them to promise to never speak to each other again. But 27 years later, one of them has reached out to you. I definitely get the impression there's going to be some sort of supernatural or cosmic-y thing, going on. And the developers have said they hope this is the beginning of a huge new universe for them to create. So check for this one on the Xbox Series S and X, PlayStation 5, and PC on February 18th for Episode 1, and then March 18th for Episode 2.
Last week, my mom found a package on her doorstep. Wait, are Bloom and Rage?
Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Goro Majima finally gets his own game. I think the fan base has been begging for this for like 20 years at this point, but yeah, everyone loves Majima. Anyway, Majima has lost his memories because he's now an RPG protagonist, and that's what happens when you are the hero of the story. You don't have any memories. So anyway, he's lost his memories, and naturally he's going to become a pirate captain out in Hawaii, and gets himself embroiled in the misadventures of pirating in the modern era. Which apparently he does, like he normally does, is all about kicking ass and taking names. Except also all the Yakuza stuff. Yeah, expect the normal, intense, fun brawler combat, wacky, silly story, probably some tearjerker moments, mini games out the wazoo, and ship-to-ship combat, which is a new one for this series. And honestly, this looks like some of the best ship-to-ship combat we've seen in a long time. I mean, it's like Yakuza mixed with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and I don't think anyone saw this coming, especially when Ubisoft themselves, had Skull and Bones come out, and that was kind of underwhelming. And then I guess Ryu Ga Gotoku was just kind of like, yeah, whatever, we'll show them how it's done. So yeah. But yeah, this one will be dropping on February 28th on the Xbox Series S and X, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC. Some of us have got a fever, and the only prescription is not more cowbell. It's more Monster Hunter. That's right. Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, that's it. That's all this section needs, right? No. It's Monster Hunter. Yeah. This is one of Capcom's big pillar franchises. Huge action RPG series. Kind of light on story, big on hunting and crafting and farming up materials. You'll create your character, select what your kitty looks like, and then run off and choose between several different weapons and kill monsters. Yeah, that's what you do. You farm up the monsters and you hunt them. So yeah, it's a super addictive gameplay loop. At this point, it has dozens of its own clones, but Monster Hunter itself is back on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on February 28th. Next up, we've got Carmen Sandiego. I know, right? Carmen Sandiego. Yeah, some of us here grew up on old Carmen Sandiego games, so I don't know. We're kind of looking forward to this. It's based on the new Netflix series. They built up this whole Carmen Sandiego world, and Carmen has actually now defected from the bad guys and is now a good gal, sort of in the adventure vein of Lara Croft, I guess now. She goes out adventuring, and we're looking forward to it. Looks like a little bit of platforming and adventure, maybe a tad bit of action. Yeah, I will admit there's some nostalgia there for some of us, opportunity to share something some of us grew up on with some of our little ones. So yeah, you never know with these licensed games how well they're going to turn out, but we'll see. We're looking forward to seeing if it's possibly a good one. That'd be nice. So it'll be hitting the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and X, Xbox One, and PC on March 4th. Split Fiction is coming to us by way of Joseph Fares, Hazelight Studios. They're responsible for titles like A Way Out and It Takes Two. It Takes Two is a winner of the Game of the Year award from one of the Jeff Keighley award shows. They make great stuff, and I think the core studio here was also responsible for Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. And I just love their dedication to making games that are co-op designed, whether it's couch co-op or multiplayer co-op. I love it. I just love that they are just dedicated to this vision and think that gaming is best when you and a friend or loved one are doing it together. And of course, not every game should make it mandatory, but it's great to see it again. We love couch co-op here. It was a magical time when just about every game used to have it, but yeah. Anyway, in the split fiction, you'll be playing as two gals, and they get sucked into a virtual reality world that's actually designed to steal their ideas and memories, and they'll actually be in each other's worlds, and you'll be helping each other try to get out and figure out what's wrong with the system. So this one will be dropping on Microsoft's Xbox Series S and X, the PlayStation 5, and PC on March 6th.
We sure cause a lot of explosions.
Alright, now we've got the Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster coming from Konami. Now, if you're not familiar with the Suikoden series, this is a hugely influential PlayStation RPG series. It spanned 5 mainline titles, a strategy RPG spin-off, and then a unrelated spin-off, and at least that's what came stateside. In Japan, it had multiple visual novels that transpired between some of the games. The second game is often hailed as one of the greatest RPGs ever made. It was a wildly influential game on me personally. This was the first game I ever played that involved save states carrying over from one game to the next, and I gotta tell you, in the late 90s there, I was like, boom, like mind-blown moment there. But so you'll be playing as Tyr McDole in the first one, and Ryo Genkaku in the second one. The series has a very unique premise. It's based on a Chinese play about the 108 stars of destiny who come together to fight against injustice, no matter what walks of life they come from. And that translates into the structure of the series. It's about bandits, vagabonds, soldiers, knights, merchants, craftsmen coming together from all walks of life to fight against injustice in the world. Your characters that you recruit, some of them can die based on your decisions, or in the strategy battles that transpire, so you will want to make sure to pay attention to that kind of stuff, or even let them die. It can change the ending, and that makes it really fun. These games aren't very long. They're like really, really tightly paced, like 20 to 40 hour RPGs. So there's a lot of opportunities to replay them and kind of see different things. So as I mentioned, there's strategy battles, there's duels. The series has a plethora of mini games, and we're super pumped for it. I can't wait for it to come out. We'd love for these to do well too. Hopefully that convinces Konami to bring the rest of the series back to life. It'd be great to see people get an opportunity to really dive into this series. I don't think it really got a lot of attention back in the day. I was constantly singing its praise to no one. But between this and bringing back Metal Gear Solid, it's really nice to see Konami finally giving up on that pachinko crap and get back into making games. They have a lot of really great franchises they've been letting lay dormant for a long time, and hopefully a whole new generation gets to experience a ton of them, because they've got some bangers. So yeah. This one will be hitting the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on March 6th. Wanderstop is a very interesting game. It's coming from one of the creators of the Stanley Parable, so we expect this one to have some pretty good writing. And the premise is actually really interesting, especially when you watch some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, where one of the developers has talked about how it relates to aspects of his own life. He set out to make a cozy game, but then he found himself feeling burnt out while making a cozy game, and he thought, why don't I introduce that to the narrative? There's a layer of irony there, feeling burnt out and anxious and all this stuff while making a game that's designed to make people relax. And so they thought that would be an interesting narrative hook. So it sounds really fun. You play as a retired arena fighter, and she's now running a tea shop. and it's just goofy, and we dig it. So, she's going to be dealing with issues like depression and burnout, and wondering if this is the right path for her. And those can be really interesting topics to address in a game that's, again, designed to make you feel calm and relaxed, but those emotions that the game is meant to induce in you are the exact opposite of how the character is feeling. And so we think that that's just an interesting premise, and we look forward to playing this one. It's a cozy game that we actually all kind of think we might be digging. So it'll hit PS5 and PC on March 11th.
This is good for me. I need to enjoy this. I feel good. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Alright, and next up we got Assassin's Creed Shadows. And yes, we know this one is embroiled in controversies left and right. Just can't seem to make anyone happy. We're not here to talk about any of that. We just wanted to mention we know it. We don't care. That's not what we're here for. We're just here to talk about games. So, we know Assassin's Creed has been struggling. People aren't liking them as much as they have been. Yeah, they might sell well, but the reception has been growing poorer and poorer, with every release. Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 4, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey really feel like they're biggies, and everything else just kind of has a bit of a mixed reception, with some just being outright poor. And, they keep pumping them out, and I don't think people are always happy with that. So, anyway, the series is finally headed to the much-anticipated location of Japan. And I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah. We just want to see what the game's like before we make any judgments, and I'm a huge fan of it. I love alternative history-type stories. So, this is in my wheelhouse. You'll be playing as either Yasuke or Naoe. Naoe is, of course, the stealthy ninja gal, and Yasuke is the large samurai fella. So each character will have different functions and purposes, and this will actually take place in a really interesting time period in Japanese history. This is around the Warring the States Sengoku era, when the warlord Oda Nobunaga tried to unify all of Japan. Yasuke was, in fact, a retainer for him. Oda eventually perished at Honnoji Temple through an act of betrayal, which is a large, very important part of the Onimusha series. And but we really think this will be a fun time period to explore, and we hope that they nail it. We hope that they make a great game and kind of win folks back. So we'd love to be wowed again. So. It'll be hitting the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on March 20th. Now we got Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. And us here at Game Conclave, we love Tetsuya Takahashi stories and worlds. Big fans of Xenogears, Xenosaga, Xenoblade. He really likes the word Xeno, doesn't he? Anyway, Xenoblade Chronicle X was formerly a Wii U exclusive, and is finally leaving that dead platform to join one of the biggest and most thriving platforms of all time on the Nintendo Switch, which just passed the PlayStation 2's lifetime sales a month or two back. So, we're excited to see this one. We feel like the Xenoblade series is criminally underrated. Sometimes it doesn't even get nominated at various big award shows, like the Jeff Keighley one. Hey Jeff, I know you're listening, so I don't know what's up, man. How can you listen to the music in this game and not at least nominate it for the music awards? This is Yasunori Mitsuda, man. Come on. Anyway. If you're not familiar with the Xeno series, it's very deep into philosophical and Jungian themes, mixed with giant robots and philosophy and robots. What more could you want? That's a recipe for success in my book. The combat is sort of a hybridized system. It's not really turn-based by any means, but has some of like the MMO and type elements. and we find that really fun. We always like these hybrid systems. This one will be a Nintendo Switch exclusive that drops on March 20th.
Fancy seeing you here.
Atelier Yumia is the latest entry in the Atelier series. This is a very long-running Japanese RPG series where you play as cutesy magical girls who are alchemists. The stories tend to be pretty lighthearted. The games tend to be very focused on crafting and resource gathering, and sometimes they have some time management aspects. I don't think there's going to be any time management in this entry. I haven't seen anything mentioned about it. We might have missed it, but I haven't noticed it. I think they're trying to get a little bit more mainstream with this series. They seem to be focusing a lot on the combat since Atelier Ryza, and I think that they're looking to take this series to the next level. And Yumia looks to be kind of next level 2 on storytelling. It looks like it might be a little bit heavier than some of the stories we normally see from them. Normally there's a lot of a slice of life to them, kind of calmness. But this one looks like it's going to be a little bit more brisk pace. So if that's what's going on, we're kind of excited to see them branch out. And we're looking forward to this one dropping on March 21st on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. Alright, some of us are pretty excited about this one. This is Bleach Rebirth of Souls, which is a fighting game based around the Bleach manga and anime. It looks like it's going to be running for sure through the first 2 major story arcs, and that's awesome. I think the Soul Society Rescue arc, that first major arc, is that's still one of the best arcs in a lot of shonen for me. Really good twists and turns to the story. So it's a licensed fighting game. Those can be real hit or miss. But we're looking forward to it. We would want to see some flashy stuff, some transformations, some just cool imagery, and we'll probably have a lot of fun with it. So, if you're looking forward to slashing some swords, some transformations, and energy blasts, then this one's going to be dropping on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, PC on March 21st.
Gentlemen, it is time for us to declare all-out war on these Ryoka.
Next up is one we actually mentioned earlier in the video, and that is Atomfall. This one is also coming by way of Rebellion Games. This one gives us strong Fallout vibes. I don't expect it to be exactly the same. They have mentioned some survival aspects and the light RPG mechanics. I think people that love Fallout are really going to dig this one. It's basically a post-apocalyptic game set in the English countryside, and we love that. We always like to see something new in terms of settings and different here at Game Conclave. So this one will be fun. It's so much better to see something new and fresh than just seeing just another generic game in New York City and Los Angeles, despite what some people think, 99.99% of the planet's population doesn't live in either of those cities. So, we're looking forward to this one coming out. It'll be hitting the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC, and Xbox One on March 27th. Alright, now we've got a little indie title, Demonschool, which seems very reminiscent of the Devil Survivor series, which is in fact a dormant strategy RPG made by Atlas. That's right, before Persona 5 and Metaphor ReFantasio, they had about a dozen Shin Megami subseries running, and I think they've kind of blown up to the point where they really can't handle all those anymore, as they focus on, more quality titles. But some of us here, including myself, we miss the Devil Survivor series. So it's kind of fun to see someone in the indie space kind of picking up a spiritual successor, and yeah, that's exactly what this looks like. Think about a little Persona meets a little Devil Survivor, and we're here for it. This one will be coming out on PC in March. Tales of the Shire is a licensed Lord of the Rings spin-off cozy game where you play as a hobbit. That's right, you are going to be finally getting the opportunity to build your own hobbit home. We don't really know too much about how good this one's gonna be or not. The studio developing it has never actually made a game. In fact, it's being made by Renworks, which is a special effects studio who actually worked on some of the Lord of the Rings movies, and they have apparently moved into the game development space. That's super interesting. We'll see what comes of it. A lot of us here are huge Lord of the Rings fans, and some of us are into cozy games, so it's an opportunity for some of us to live out our dreams and fantasies of lounging around all day, smoking hookah, getting drunk, having second breakfast, and yeah, hopefully the game is as good as that sounds. So this one will be coming out on the Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on March 20th.
These are our tales of the Shire.
We hope you found some new games to check out. Give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps us grow. Hop down in the comments below, and if you found anything worthwhile on this list that you plan to check out, let us know. And from all of us here at Game Conclave, as always, thank you so much for watching.